Hello students, today we will start with a new chapter, that is chemical kinetics. Okay, we have to do the problems, numericals in the electrochemistry that we will do, don't worry about that. So today we will start with a new topic, that is chemical kinetics. Okay, now what is chemical kinetics means? Kinetics means you are studying the rate of a reaction. Actually, in 11th standard, when you talk about thermodynamics, there you study the feasibility of a reaction. What do you mean by feasibility? That means whether a reaction takes place or not. That can be found out in the thermodynamics. How? If delta G is negative, we say that the reaction happens spontaneously. If delta G is positive, we say the reaction takes place non-spontaneously. Isn't it? So we have an idea about the feasibility of reaction thermodynamically. Isn't it? Now, coming to the chemical equilibrium, that also you have studied in 11. There you know the extent of reaction happening. That is, how much the reaction happens or how much the reactant is converted to products. That also you know from the chemical equilibrium. But till now, you don't know or we haven't studied about how fast or how slow is the chemical reaction, or how you will determine the speed of a reaction, how much speed the reaction is going or the reactant is getting converted into the product. So that deals with what? The chemical kinetics. So today's topic is chemical kinetics, or it deals with the rate of reaction or the speed of reactions. You know, the reactants are converted into product, isn't it? Now, at the time of the initial or originally, you have more reactants, isn't it? Now, as the time consumes, the reactant gets decreased and the product is getting increased. So, how fast or how slow is the reaction happening is all about with the chemical kinetics. Okay, so we can simply say that the chemical kinetics, you are studying the change in the concentration of reactants. Are you getting it? The change, how much reactants are changing with respect to time, or how much products are forming with respect to time. That we are dealing with in chemical kinetics. So you can say in chemical kinetics, it deals with the change in the concentration of either reactants or products with respect to time, isn't it? So I can write chemical kinetics deals with the change in concentration of reactants. Okay, it can be reactants or it can be product, both. Okay, it can be either reactant or it can be either product with respect to time. With respect to time. So that is called as chemical kinetics. So it is nothing but the change in the concentration of reactants or product, change in the concentration of product with respect to time is called as chemical kinetics. Okay, but when you talk about reactions, there are so many types of reactions you know. Or on which reaction you want to calculate the rate of a reaction. Actually, we are finding out what? We are finding out the rate of a reaction. I simply write it as ROR, that is rate of a reaction. So, in which reactions you want to calculate the rate of a reaction? Normally, there are reactions in which it occurs in there are very fast reactions like ionic reactions. Okay, if we say about, so you know now there is a change in concentration of reactants or products with respect to time. That is called as rate or chemical kinetics. Okay. Now there are very fast reactions. Okay. There are very fast reactions, that is mainly ionic reactions. Ionic reactions are very fast reactions. For example, case of an ionic reaction example, I can say AgNO3 plus NaCl gives AgCl plus NaNO3. See, this is an example of an ionic reaction. Or this reaction happens in microseconds, means very fast. For example, in the order of 10 raised to minus, micro means 6. Okay, So it happens very, very fast. So in case of very fast reactions, it is very difficult determine the rate of a reaction, because actually it is happening in microseconds. It's very fast. It is very difficult to calculate the rate of reactions in very fast reactions. So we are not interested in calculating the rate of reaction in a very fast reactions. Example, ionic reactions. Okay. Now second type of reaction is what is, there are very slow reactions also, isn't it? Very slow reactions. Example is rusting of iron. You know, rusting of iron happens very slowly, or it can take months or even years to stop or to complete the reaction. So it is not practically advisable to take the rate of reaction for a very slow reactions, isn't it? There is no applicability in that. Okay, it's a waste of time. So this is also not our interest. So in very fast reactions as well as in very slow reactions, you cannot or you are not calculating the rate of a reaction. So in what type of reaction we are calculating the rate of reaction? That is moderate reactions. Isn't it? Moderate reaction means what? Moderate reactions normally takes place in molecular reactions. Okay. Moderate reactions takes place in molecular reactions. Molecular reaction means what? For example, N2 plus H2 giving NH3. You know, this is a formation of ammonia, isn't it? So in this case, what happens is, this N2, that means N triple bond N, correct? Then this hydrogen, single bond hydrogen. And what is NH3? NH3 is also covalently bonded. So in this case, what happens is, there the nitrogen bond should be broken, the hydrogen bond should be broken, and then the nitrogen and hydrogen bond will form as ammonia. So there are enough or finite time between this reactants converting to products. So in that case, we know we have to calculate, or we can calculate the rate of a reaction. Correct? So rate of a reaction we normally calculate at moderate reactions, that is molecular reactions. So molecular reactions, example, nitrogen plus hydrogen will give you ammonia. So in that case, when the reactants are converted to products, there is a finite time for that. So in that cases, we can calculate the rate of a reaction. Is it clear? So now our this thing is how to calculate the rate of a reaction for moderate reactions. Clear? Now we will pass on to how to calculate the rate of a reaction. Okay. Now, chemical kinetics normally deal with three things. One is to find out the rate of a reaction. Okay. First thing is to find out the rate of a reaction. And I have already given introduction for that, how to calculate or in which reactions you calculate the rate of a reaction. Okay. Now second thing is dealing with chemical characteristics, the factors that affect the rate of reaction. That also we deal with in this chapter. The factors. Mainly the factors are, more importantly, the concentration, secondly is the pressure, then the temperature, then the catalyst. All these comes under this factors affecting the rate of a reaction. So that also we will study in detail. More importantly, you study concentration as well as the temperature. Okay, concentration as well as the temperature you are dealing with. And third thing we study in chemical kinetics is the mechanism. That is very important. I think that is a new topic for you as well. What is mechanism? You know, by seeing a well-balanced chemical equation, you cannot predict whether the reaction is carried out in a single step or more than one step. What I mean is, the reactions can be classified as a single step reaction or a simple reaction as well as a complex reaction. Okay. Simple reaction means the reaction takes place in a single step. We call it as elementary reactions in kinetics, and we will study later. Okay, so simple reaction means which takes place only in a single step, which we call it as elementary reactions. While complex reaction means a reaction which is happening in more than one step. For example, some reactions takes place in 5 steps. So the question is, Is all the 5 steps important in determining the rate of reaction? Or only one step out of this 5 will determine the rate, or how you will calculate the rate of reaction? All this comes under the mechanism of the reaction. So that also we will study in detail about this in chemical kinetics. Okay, so these are some things we are studying in chemical kinetics. Okay, now we will pass on to the rate of reaction, or how we will calculate the rate of a reaction. Okay, that is rate of a reaction is, we said, what is it? The change in concentration of the reactants or the change in concentration of a product with respect to time. That is called as the rate of a reaction. Okay, for example, if you have a hypothetical situation like a reactants converting to product. See, here R is the reactant and P is the product. Now here 1 mole of reactant is getting converted into 1 mole of product. First we will see about the 1 mole. Okay, so 1 mole of reactant is getting converted into 1 mole of the product. Okay, now when we talk about the rate of reaction, we can talk about in 2 ways. One, we can talk about the average rate of reaction. Okay, first we will talk about the average rate of reaction, and second we talk about instantaneous rate of reaction. See, first we will do with the average rate of reaction. Okay, now if a reactant is converting into product, that is 1 mole. Okay, now when the time is T1, okay, now R1 is getting converted and P1 is the product, concentration of the product at the time T1. Listen, R reactant getting converted into product. Okay, at time T1, let the concentration of the R be R1 and P be P1. Correct? Now, at the time T2, because we are taking the average rate of reaction, isn't it? So, at the time T2, the reactant is getting, the concentration is changing from R1 to R2 and P1 is changing to P2. Correct? Now, you can write the average rate of reaction as, listen, I am writing it as delta R, that is concentration of delta R by delta T. Listen, why I put delta? Because it is the average rate of reaction. Now, how will you calculate delta R? That is equal to R2 minus R1. The concentration of R2 minus R1 divided by T2 minus T1. Got it? You know, mathematically you know how to find the average rate of concentration, isn't it? So, if it is R2 minus R1 and T2 minus T1. Now, what I am going to do is, I will put a minus sign here for the reactant. Why? Any idea? Why I put minus charge for the reactant? Why? Because, you see, as the time passes, the reactants are being converted to product, or the concentration of the reactant is decreasing, whereas the concentration of the product is increasing. That is why I put minus for the reactant, that is minus, and plus for the product. Then how will you write plus? Plus delta P by delta T. See, this is the average rate of reaction for the product. That is here, this is the change in reactant, precisely the change in the concentration of reactant with respect to time. That is the rate of reaction, isn't it? And here, the rate of reaction is the change in the concentration of the product with respect to time. Correct? So, this is how, and here you can write what? This is P2, concentration of P2 minus concentration of P1 by T2 minus T1. See? This is how you represent a rate of a reaction. So, how will you define the rate of reaction? Rate of reaction means the change in concentration of the reactant. Here I am telling only, there is only one reactant. If there is two reactants, what will I say? The change in concentration of any one of the reactants. Isn't it? Any one of the reactants. Or the change in concentration of product or any one of the product. If for example A plus B giving C plus D, A plus B giving C plus D, there are two reactants and two products. The rate of reaction can be either one of the reactant or either one of the product. That's the difference. Okay, so you can say the change in concentration of any one of the reactants with respect to time, or the change in concentration of any one of the product with respect to time. That is how you calculate the average rate of reaction. Clear? Or you can say more specifically, you can say the rate of disappearance of product. Am I right? Rate of disappearance of reactants, because reactants are getting disappeared, and also I can say the rate of appearance of the product. In two ways you can also say how it is the rate of disappearance of the reactants, that is minus delta R by delta T. That is called as rate of disappearance of reactants. Normally in disappearance you don't say the sign, because you know disappearance, you only put the mode of that. Okay, mode of delta R by delta T. That is how you calculate the disappearance. And the appearance of product, that is delta P by delta T. So this is how the rate of reaction, or the average, how to calculate the average rate of reaction. And always the rate of reaction has got a positive value. Always, remember, the rate of reaction has got a positive value. So this is how you calculate the average rate of reaction. Clear? It is nothing but the change in concentration of any of the reactants with respect to time, or the change in concentration of the products or any of the products with respect to time is what you call as average rate of reaction. Clear? Understood? Okay. Now we will pass on to how you will calculate instantaneous rate of reaction. What do you mean instantaneous? For example, at a particular time, for say 600 seconds or 200 seconds, at that particular time, what is the rate of reaction? That is what you call it as instantaneous. At that instant, at a particular instant, what is the rate of reaction? That you call it as instantaneous rate of reaction. That's the difference between average. Average means there are two things, R1 as well as R2, initial as well as final. So how you calculate the average? Final minus initial. That is you calculate the average. But instantaneous means what? At a particular time, what is the rate of reaction? That is called as instantaneous rate of reaction. Now how will you calculate the instantaneous rate of reaction? Okay, are clear with the average rate of reaction? Okay. Now we will see the instantaneous rate of reaction. Now, instantaneous reaction means when the delta T tends to 0. When delta T tends to 0, we call, that is an infinitesimally small amount of time. Then we say that the rate of reaction, the instantaneous rate of reaction we will say as for the reactant minus d of R by dt, the differential equation, the differential of the reactant. See, minus dr by dt. That is when delta T tends to 0, you can write the instantaneous rate of reaction as, or if I say rate of reaction, I simply say R. If I denote a letter R, I can say R instantaneous is equal to minus d of R by dt. That's a differential. Okay, that is a very small change in the time, or at a particular time you can calculate the rate of reaction. Now why I put minus? Because the reactant always there is a decrease in concentration. Clear? Now what about the product like this? I can write R instantaneous of product is equal to plus dP by dt. See, reactant is always decreasing, that is why minus. Product is always increasing, that is why plus. And keep in mind, always the rate of reaction has got a positive value. Always. Okay, that we will see in numericals when we are doing we will see, you will get a positive value. Correct? So this is instantaneous rate of reaction and average rate of reaction. Correct? Now we will see or how to calculate the unit of a rate of a reaction. How we calculate a unit of a rate of reaction. That is, it's also important, the unit of a rate of reaction. How will you calculate? What is the unit of rate of reaction? If you take this reactant as an example, what is it? Concentration of the reactant. How will you represent concentration? Normally you represent the concentration as a molar concentration. Molar, that is capital M. Capital M. Now if you are defining the concentration in molarity, now what will be the value or the unit in molarity? That is mole per liter, isn't it? Mole per liter, that is the concentration. So concentration divided by time is expressed in normally seconds. Correct? Now how can you write this? Mole per liter. So I can write mole liter inverse second inverse. So this is the unit of the rate of reaction. It's very important. Units are also important. That is mole per liter per second. Why? Because the concentration you are taking in molarity. Okay, molarity. So it is also temperature dependent. So at a specific temperature you are doing the experiment. Okay. So this is the unit of rate of reaction. It is mole per liter per second. Now you know what is average rate and instantaneous rate of a reaction. Okay. Now if you draw a graph, from graphically how I can represent the average rate of a reaction as well as an instantaneous rate of reaction. Okay. We will see how we will draw a graph, okay, of the average as well as the instantaneous. First I will draw a graph of average rate of reaction. Average rate of reaction. You can choose either reactants or products. Okay. Now in this graph I will choose reactants. In the other graph I will choose the product. So here I can write the concentration of the reactant in the y-axis and in the x-axis the time. Time is taken in the x-axis. Correct? Now how will the graph comes? In the reactants it is decreasing as the time is progressing, isn't it? So you will have a graph like this. Then it will be a standard because here it will become equilibrium like this. Correct? So as the time, so here means here is the initial value of R, it is R0, the steady meter. Okay. Now as the time passes, it will goes on decreasing. Correct? Now how will we find the average? See, if here it is R1, it is initially and the temperature is T1. Correct? Now as the time passes, see here the time is T2. Now what is the rate of the reaction? R2. See, you have got R1 and R2, T1 and T2. Now what is R2 minus R1? That is delta R. Correct? Now what is T2 minus T1? The difference. What is T2 minus T1? That is delta T. Isn't it? Now what is the average rate of reaction? You know. For the reactants it is minus delta R by delta T. Isn't it? Now in the place of delta R you can have the value of R2 minus R1. Can I write that? Yes, that is R2 minus R1 divided by T2 minus T1. So from this graphical representation I can get the rate of reaction for this. That is R average is equal to how will I write? Minus delta R by delta T. This is how I represent graphically. See, this is how I represent graphically. Now you know how to calculate the average rate of a reaction graphically. Clear? Now from this graph, how will I calculate the R instantaneous? Or if I want a particular time, for example say T, here T, the time at this time T, I want to calculate the instantaneous, the rate of reaction at that particular time, which I call as an instantaneous rate of reaction. So how will I get it? That is, if you draw a tangent to this point, if you draw a tangent to this point, that tangent if you draw, you will get a slope, isn't it? Okay, and that slope represents what? That is, this graph is having a minus slope, isn't it? Minus slope. So that slope is equal to tan theta. Or you can write what? Slope is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, isn't it? If I draw like this, you can have, here it is y2, y1, x2, x1. So in that case also you can have the slope. That slope will give the instantaneous rate of reaction. Either you can have the tan theta thing, or you can have the slope is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, or minus slope is equal to tan theta. According to theta, you will get the slope, and that slope is the rate of reaction at this instantaneous. Or there you can find the rate of reaction instantaneously, or R instantaneous. Or how will I write here R instantaneous? R instantaneous is equal to minus d of R by dt. Am I right? So this is how you calculate what? The R instantaneous as well as the R average for a reactant. It's simple, isn't it? You got a parabola like this. From this you find R1 and R2 respectively with the T1 and T2. The change in reactants with the time is the average rate of reaction. And instantaneous rate at this particular temperature, if you want to find the rate of reaction at this particular time, what will you? You draw a tangent, the slope will give you the rate of reaction. Correct? Clear? Now the same thing I will draw it for the product. See, the same graph I can draw for the product. How can it be? For a y-axis and the x-axis. In the case of reactants, I have to write the concentration of the product and with time t. Okay. Now how will the graph comes? The product, it is increasing as the time extends. It is increasing and it will be coming like this, because at equilibrium it will be a constant. So initially it will increase and then it will become a constant. Okay, so this is the graph of what? Is the graph of the product versus time. Now how will I calculate? If P1 at this time T1, if it is P1, the concentration is P1 and the time is T1, and at the time P2, see, P2 is the concentration. How will I write? Delta concentration of the product by delta T, isn't it? That is the average rate of reaction. That is plus, because product is increasing, is equal to, I can write P2 minus P1, the concentration of P2 minus the concentration of P1 divided by T2 minus T1. See, this is same as reactants, no difference. How you calculate reactant? The same thing you calculate the product. Only the difference is the graph is like this. So this difference is the delta P, and this difference is the delta T. That's all. Clear? So this is how you find the average rate of reaction of that product. And here is the reactant. Now here, how will you calculate the instantaneous rate? For example, at this time, how can I calculate? You draw a tangent to it. Then from the slope will be plus. You will get the rate of a reaction. So here I can write plus d of P by dt. See here R instantaneous is what? Minus d of capital R by dt, whereas here for the product it is plus d of P by dt. That's it. From the slope you can calculate what? You can calculate the rate of a reaction. Okay, the slope means from this you have a triangle y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. You can either find like that, or from the tan theta, slope is equal to tan theta, you can calculate the rate of a reaction. So these are the two graphs relating the rate of a reaction. Clear? So what is rate of reaction? Rate of reaction means the change in concentration of any one of the reactants. If there is more than one reactant, any one of the reactants, that change you can say it is a rate of reaction. Correct? Or the rate, it is the change in the concentration of any one of the product with respect to time is called as rate of reaction. And what is the rate of unit of rate of reaction? Unit of rate of reaction is mole per liter per second. Now, if it is a gaseous reactant and gaseous product, what will be the unit? Gaseous means there, instead of molarity, you will have partial pressure, isn't it? For a gaseous reactant and gaseous product, instead of this concentration, what you will have? You will have the partial pressure. Then what will be the unit? The unit will be atmosphere by second. So, second inverse. So, this is the unit of the rate of reaction for gases, and this is for the solids, so reactants and products. So, this is an introduction about how to find the average rate of reaction as well as an instantaneous rate of reaction. Hope you understood. Okay. Now we will pass on to the next section. Earlier we have discussed only a hypothetical situation in which 1 mole of reactant is getting converted into 1 mole of product, isn't it? In that case, we have written the average rate of reaction as the minus of delta R by delta T, and the product is plus delta P by delta T, isn't it? And the instantaneous rate as minus d of concentration of R by dt and plus d of concentration of product by dt. For 1 mole converting into 1 product. Now we will see a generalized equation, and for that generalized equation, how you will write the rate of an equation. That is very important. Okay. Now we will see a generalized equation. Hope you understood graph also, how to calculate the average rate and instantaneous rate from a given graphical representation. Okay. So now we will pass on to a general equation, that is, you know, AA plus BB giving CC plus DD. This is a generalized equation in which what is the small a, small b, small c and small d are the stoichiometric coefficients. Got it? Small a, small b, small c and small d are the stoichiometric coefficients. So in this type of equation, you cannot say that always the A, B, C and D are 1, 1, 1, 1. No, it can be 2, 3, 4, whatever be it. So in that type of an equation, how will you write the rate of an equation? So in this type, you have to write the equation as, since this is a reactant, you have to divide the rate of the reactant with its stoichiometric coefficient. You got it? In order to write the rate of reaction of this reactant, you have to divide the stoichiometric coefficient of this reactant. Or if you want to write the rate of reaction of this reactant, any one of the reactant, if it is B, you have to divide that rate of reaction with its stoichiometric coefficient, like the C with the stoichiometric coefficient C, and here D divided with the stoichiometric coefficient D. So I will write it as C. In this case, or if you write the rate of reaction with respect to the reactant A, I can write it as minus 1 by A into delta A by delta T. See? This is how you write the rate of reaction for a generalized equation. Or that is equal to, this is equal to, how will I write for this B? Again minus 1 by B into delta B by delta T. Isn't it? Why minus? Because it is reactant. Correct? Now, that is again equal to, coming to the product, how will you write? Plus 1 by C into delta concentration of C by delta T. See? Again, which is equal to 1 plus 1y plus product, y minus reactant. So 1 by D into concentration of D by delta T. So this is how you represent the rate of reaction for a general equation. Now giving an example, for example, if I write N2O5, simply 2N2O5, say, will give you 4NO plus O2. Okay, 4NO plus O2. Okay, that is 5 2s are 10, then 4 into 8. So 8 into 8 plus 2, 10. Correct? 4 plus 4 plus 4, 8, and 5 into 2s are 10. So how will you calculate it? 4, 10, 5. Correct. Okay. So this is the equation, a well balanced equation for the decomposition of N2O5 giving nitric oxide NO and oxygen O2. So how will you write the rate of reaction for this reaction? I mean for the reactants as well as the product. So you apply this. How will you write? In the case of N2O4, the rate of reaction for N2O5 is what? Minus, what is the stoichiometric coefficient here? 2. So you have to divide this by 2, isn't it? So it will be 1 by 2 into, are you getting it? 1 by 2 into delta, the concentration of N2O5 divided by delta T. See, you have to divide it by the stoichiometric coefficient. That is equal to, how will you write here? How will you write the rate of reaction of this product form? The stoichiometric coefficient is 4. So I have to write plus 1 by 4. I have to divide with the stoichiometric coefficient delta concentration of NO by delta T. See? That is again equal to, how will you write for O2? It is 5, isn't it? So, sorry, this is 4, no? 4 into 2, 8. 2. It is 2 O2, right? 10. 2 into 5, 10, 4, 8, 4, 5, 10. Okay, if it is 2, suppose if it is 2, then I can write plus 1 by 2 into, okay, say, this is an example, delta of oxygen by delta T. So, in an equation, you have to write this divided by this stoichiometric coefficient. You got that? So, this is how you represent a rate of reaction for a generic equation. Okay. Or if I say, for example, one more example if I give, see, one more example I will give you. That is Br minus, you have to, this is a homework, just see, Br minus, that is 5 Br minus plus BrO3 minus plus 6H plus will give you 3 Br2 plus 3 H2O. You just write the rate of reaction, the ROR, the rate of reaction for this reactants as well as the product. Okay, so this much about today. That is what all we studied. You studied about the what is the rate of reaction. Then how will you calculate the average rate of reaction as well as the instantaneous rate of reaction, and how you represent the rate of reaction for a generic equation. So till then you read the textbook thoroughly, and any doubt tell me. Okay, so that's it.